In the previous video, where we covered 31st to 36 shlokas of chapter 4, Lord Krishna talks about the glories of Brahmagyan. He says knowledge sacrifice is superior, and then he describes how a knowledge seeker should in all humility prostrate before a guru, ask questions to remove ignorance and receive jnanopadesh from the guru. Further, the Lord guarantees that even the greatest sinner will overcome his sins after getting enlightened. In the last few slokas of chapter 4, that is from the 37th to the 42nd shlokas that we would cover in this video, the dual paths of Karma Yoga and Gyana Yoga are prescribed by the Lord. Yataidhamsi samidhognihi basmasat kuruterjuna jnanagni sarva karmani basmasat kurute tata. Arjuna yata samidhaha agnihi. Samidhaha agnihi, blazing fire. So Arjuna, just as blazing fire, etamsi basmasat kurute. Basmasat kurute turns into ashes and etamsi is firewood. So Arjuna, just as blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, tata jnanagnihi sarva karmani basmasat kurute. Likewise, tata jnanagnihi. Jnanagnihi, the fire of knowledge. Sarva karmani, all actions. So jnanagnihi, the fire of knowledge, turns all actions into basmasat kurute, turns all actions into ashes. In the 36th shloka, Lord Krishna tells us that even the greatest of all sinners is able to overcome his sins by sailing in the raft of knowledge. So how does this happen? In this shloka, that is in this 37th shloka, Lord Krishna explains that just as blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, likewise knowledge also turns all sins, all actions into ashes. The Lord explains to us by giving us this very simple blazing fire illustration. He tells us that spiritual knowledge as given in the Vedic scriptures has the power to absolve us from all sins. Spiritual knowledge, that is Brahmagyan, destroys all reactions to actions. All sins committed previously when one was ignorant gets destroyed. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati. Iha is ihaloke, that is in this world, that is in this bhuloka. Jnanena sadrisham pavitram hi na vidyate. Na vidyate does not exist. What does not exist? There is nothing that exists in this world that is so purifying like knowledge. Jnanena sadrisham, like knowledge, pavitram hi na vidyate. So nothing so purifying like knowledge. Tat kalena yoga samsiddha swayam atmani vindate. So kalena in course of time. Yoga samsiddha, a karma yogi practitioner, swayam atmani vindati. So a karma yogi practitioner in course of time finds tat is, here it refers to the spiritual intelligence or wisdom. So he finds that on his own, swayam, he finds that on his own in atma, in his own atma. So people say that a dip in the Ganges or any holy river purifies. So there are many things in this world that purifies us. But knowledge is the greatest purifier because it removes all the ignorance in us. By bathing, we can clean the physical body, but knowledge alone can remove the ignorance in us. So nishkama karma done in a detached way without any desire towards the fruits of action. So by practicing this nishkama karma yogi discovers the spiritual wisdom in course of time. He gains atmajnan. There are different methods like meditation, bhakti, mantra jap and other practices. So karma yoga practice also leads one to discovery of Brahmagyan over a course of time. Lord Krishna also tells us that the karma yogi discovers the knowledge on his own. So just as the saying goes that you can take a horse to the water but can't make it drink. So a guru can provide all the help needed to a spiritual seeker, but the ultimate truth can be realized by oneself through self-inquiry. Also, the knowledge is within us in the Atma. Knowing the eternal nature of the Atma is the key. So Atmajnan, Brahmajnan is that which exists within us. One need not go searching for this elsewhere. It's very much within us. By attaining perfection in the practice of Nishkama Karma, a Karma Yogi discovers the Brahmajnan in Atma, in his own Atma, on his own. That is, he himself discovers it. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparah samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digacchati. Samyatendriyah tatparah shraddhavan. Samyatendriyah, one who has controlled his senses. Tatparah, one who is absolutely devoted. Shraddhavan, one who has faith. So, a person who has faith, a person who is devoted, a person who has control over his senses, jnanam labate. So, what is he able to achieve? He is able to get knowledge. Jnanam labate. Jnanam labdva, having acquired knowledge, achirena param shanti adhigachati. Achirena, without delay. That is, immediately after acquiring knowledge, param shanti adhigachati. He attains supreme peace. In the 31st shloka of chapter 4, Lord Krishna states that by prostrating before a guru and getting guru's guropadesh, one can get knowledge. In the previous shloka, Lord Krishna tells us that a karma yogi who has become perfect in performing nishkama karma acquires knowledge on his own, and he finds this knowledge in his own atma. So, is it so easy to get knowledge? What are the perfect qualities that make a karma yogi eligible for knowledge acquisition? Number one, Shraddhavan, a person who has absolute faith, commitment, firm belief. A person who has absolute faith in the Vedic scriptures and performs his duties as prescribed by them. Second quality, Tatparaha. He must be totally involved, dedicated and committed to his sadhana. And Samyatendriyaha, one who has control over his senses. So he needs to have all these three. He needs to have that single-minded devotion that makes him detached from all external matters and be more introverted. This temperament is needed to be free from all temptations of material objects. A disciplined, devoted Shraddhavan acquires knowledge, reaches the pinnacle of wisdom and attains moksha or liberation after that. Ajñascha shraddhadhanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paraha na sukham samshayatmanah. Ajñaha cha ashraddhadhanaha cha. Ajñaha, the ignorant. Shraddha is one who has faith. Ashraddhadhanaha is a person who has no faith. So the ignorant and the person without faith, samshaya is doubt. So samshayatma, one who has doubts, one with doubts. So what happens to all these? Vinashyati. So these persons, they face destruction. So the ignorant, the one without faith, the doubter, they all face destruction. Samshayatmanah, ayam lokaha na asti. For the samshayatmanah, for the doubter, ayam lokaha na asti. This loka, this bhuloka does not exist. Paraha na. Even other heavens, other heavenly spaces do not exist. Sukam cha na. And he does not have any, there's no happiness for him as well. So, having listed the qualifications of the knowledge seeker who acquires knowledge, Lord Krishna in this shloka explains the fate of the ignorant and the person who has no faith. Ajnaha means the ignorant, the person who has no Vedic wisdom, no knowledge of Vedic scriptures. Ashraddha dhanaha, one who has no faith. So, Shraddha is one who has faith. Ashraddha dhanaha, one who has no faith. So, this person, even if he gets instructions on Vedic scriptures, he has no faith in them. Samshayatma, samshaya is doubt. So, Samshayatma is a skeptical person. So, he is a skeptical person who always doubts even the little bit of knowledge he has received, and hence he has no further motivation or inclination for knowledge. The skeptical person has no faith in the Guru nor the Vedic scriptures. Such an ignorant, skeptical person can have no hope for happiness either in this world nor other heavenly. Even to obtain happiness, worldly happiness, one must have faith in the Vedic scriptures and one must perform the prescribed duties to achieve artha and kama. The various goals of a human being are dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma, artha, kama and moksha. To achieve these goals, a person must perform the prescribed duties. He must do sacrifices as stated in the Vedic scriptures. The ignorant who has little knowledge of Vedic scriptures, the skeptical person who doubts the advice of the Guru and the Vedic knowledge, can therefore have no hope for happiness in this world or other heavenly. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnana sanchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, Arjuna, conqueror of wealth and riches. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. The person who performs all activities like a karma yogi, that is, he renounces the fruits of action. Jnana sanchinna samshayam. Such a person, this karma yogi, he gets all his doubts cleared through knowledge, through transcendental knowledge. Samshayam is doubts. So, jnana samchinna sanshayam. So, all his doubts are cleared through the transcendental knowledge that he acquires over a period of time. Atmavantam, he has a mind under control. Karmani na nibadnanti. So, actions do not bind such a person. So, Arjuna, karma activities, that is karma, it does not bind that karma yogi who has renounced the fruits of action and who clears his doubts through spiritual intelligence and knowledge, and he keeps his mind under control and unites his own consciousness with that of the universal consciousness. Lord Krishna in the 4th chapter recommends, that is, in this particular chapter, we find that gradually Lord Krishna recommends a dual path of following both karma yoga, that is as prescribed in the Vedic scriptures. A karma yogi also needs to cultivate knowledge. So karma yoga as prescribed in the Vedic scriptures is the beginning stage. A karma yogi practitioner cultivates Vedic knowledge in course of time. As he renounces his action and he continuously keeps doing this over a period of time, that is nishkama karma, he renounces all his actions to the Supreme. As he keeps doing this over a period of time, he gains knowledge and he is able to unite the individual consciousness with that of the universal consciousness. As the individual gains knowledge, he is able to clear all his doubts. So once Atma Jnana is obtained, all doubts are dispelled. Atmavantam, the word Atmavantam is used, which means one who is self-satisfied. When one is self-satisfied, a person has unshakable faith in the eternal nature of Atma, and thereafter no doubt arises. No actions performed in the present or future can bind this karma yogi, who is enlightened through continuous practice of nishkama karma as prescribed in the Vedic scriptures. Tasmat ajnana sambhutam hridstam jnanasinatmanah chitvainam samshayam yogam atishtottishta bharata. Tasmat Bharata Arjuna. Tasmat, therefore Arjuna, hridstam ajnana sambhutam atmanaha yenam samshayam. Samshayam is, doubts. It refers to doubts. Ajnana sambhutam atmanaha. Doubts that have risen on account of ignorance. Hritsam, the doubts in your heart. So Arjuna, the doubts that have risen in your heart on account of ignorance, Jnana asina chitva. Jnana asina chitva. Chitva is kill them. Kill them how? Jnana asina. Remove or kill the doubts with the sword. Asina, with the sword of jnana, knowledge. So using the sword of knowledge, dispel all your doubts. Kill all the doubts. Knowledge refers to the spiritual knowledge here. And yoga atishta, stand steady or take shelter in karma yoga. Uttishta, get up. Okay, so Arjuna, with the sword of knowledge, dispel or remove the doubts born of ignorance in your heart and take shelter in karma yoga, and uttishta, arise. In the last sloka of chapter 4, Lord Krishna again tells Arjuna, uttishta, get up. Get up for what? To to fight, to perform your karma as per Vedic scriptures. Arjuna has many doubts in his heart. Lord Krishna urges him to use the sword of spiritual knowledge to remove these doubts. The sword of knowledge here refers to the Atma Jnana, Atma Tattva, or the yoga of the Atma, realizing the self, uniting the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. And Lord Krishna further urges Arjuna to stand up and get ready to perform his karma. Karma as per the Vedic scriptures, meaning he is asking Arjuna to perform his Kshatriya duties, that is, get ready to fight. As a Karma Yogi practitioner, he is asking Arjuna to use his knowledge to dispel all doubts that he has in his heart, use a sword of knowledge to dispel the doubts. Arjuna needs to be clear as a Karma Yogi that when he practices Nishkama Karma, actions will not bind him. To sum up, Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to take refuge in the Karma Yoga, and he is simultaneously also asking Arjuna to use a sword of knowledge to dispel all doubts in him. The doubts that his actions of killing his near and dear ones in a war would bind him beget sins. So all these doubts can be dispelled by using the sword of knowledge to kill the doubts. So finally, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, stand up and get ready to fight. That is, become a Karma Yogi. Summarizing the last 6 slokas of chapter 4, that is 36 to 42, the 36 to 42nd shloka covered today. Lord Krishna, in 37th shloka, Lord Krishna tells that knowledge destroys all actions, like how blazing fire burns firewood to ashes. Knowledge is the greatest purifier, and a Karma Yogi practicing Nishkama Karma with faith and commitment acquires knowledge in course of time and attains supreme peace. The ignorant and skeptical person finds no peace and happiness. Lord Krishna further explains how a Karma Yogi uses a sword of knowledge to dispel doubts. Likewise, Lord Krishna urges Arjuna to dispel all his doubts in his heart with the sword of knowledge, and he urges him to stand up and fulfill his Kshatriya duty, that is, get ready to fight. I have completed chapter 4 with this 42nd shloka. So let us chant Pushpika. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturtodhyayah. So happy to say that we have completed chapter 4 with this. In the following video, we would summarize all that we have covered in chapter 4. Thank you.